All right. Okay. So this is Restorative Parenting Awakening 101. I am natural law. And there's one thing I want to say about natural law. Someone put something up about natural law on our Telegram, and it goes beyond what they have put up on there. And I want to get through that with you, but it's not as simple as that one slide that you see on our Telegram. Natural law goes beyond that. So I want you all to know that natural law is absolute. It's not so simple. It has nothing to do with the law of attraction, things like that. There are certain things that are different about natural law. It is spiritual. It is about nature, reality, and truth. Those are absolute. It's an existing condition which is binding, and it never changes. It's absolute. So it's immutable. It never changes. You are spiritual, so you are natural law. When you get awakened to your spiritual nature and you realize I am true nature, then you become, you start your journey of becoming, renewing your awareness of your truth. So I want to say that because I keep seeing that slide out there, or that framework out there, and I'm like, someone has to explain this, because it's not what that slide says. It goes beyond that into a deeper expression. That slide says nothing about your true nature and nothing about your essence. And I want to be very clear about that. See, we have to do that inner work. So the objective of this forum is to assist with our restoration as a truth bearer. We were born from the spark of God, or the divine, or the creative source, whatever you want to call it. But that's enormous. That's incredible if you think about that. We are truth bearers. I can't emphasize that enough. The human condition is now awakening to its true nature and choosing to come into fullness of self-expression as God, I am love. For those choosing to truly do your inner work, and that's important, you are opening your 7 seals. And may you step aside and allow the divine healer within you to do its work in initiating these illusionary seals of the conditioned mind. Now, that's important to understand. These 7 seals have been known in our community, and if you are involved in yoga at all, those are talked about as the chakras. They're the chakras inside of you. They're not chakras. They're not chakras. They're chakras. And those are the 7 seals that exist within your embodiment. And they start at the tailbone, and they reside, go from the tailbone all the way up to the top of the head. When the baby is born, they said, oh, it's crowning. So that's the top of the head. And so our model down here, which I will talk you through, is part of that. So it's the conditioned mind patterns that we have been, we've been conditioned all of our life based on the education that was given to us by not only our parents, but the various groups that our parents put us in, the educational systems, our churches, our friends, our family, the things that we learned from society. And so that conditioning needs to be erased or re-evaluated. So it needs, I come from a computer world, so what I tell my family is we need a software update. We need to upgrade our software. And so it's important that we need this conditioning to be reinitialized somehow. And that starts with us believing or renewing our software into a different framework. So what I have down here, first of all, the header says, we are all knowing our restoration is now in progress. So this is important. It's already started. And you know why you have to know that is because you're involved in this group. Whatever brought you here, your divine guides, and everybody has guides and teachers and angels that assist you. So know that you have that. But we are all knowing. We have all that consciousness inside of us because we have that spark from our divine creator. And now our restoration is in progress. We are on the path. So this model here is a framework. And so those tiny little dots over here, if you see the bottom, it says chakra, and those are our chakras. And basically it starts from the bottom, which is your tailbone, but I reversed it, showing the union, which is the tailbone. So I go from the top to the bottom instead of from the bottom to the top as our body goes. But I wanted to do this purposefully because our world is upside down right now. So I turned it upside down for you to understand it a little bit different. So the arrows go to each one of those 7 chakras, or the 7 little earths. And those other earths that you see are, this is you over here on the right hand side. Those are the chakras. Those are the energy centers inside of your body wanting to wake up. And the other earths over here, let me see if I can, these earths right here are the 3rd dimension. This is the conditioned mind patterns. These are inside of you that you can shift the consciousness. This is the 4th dimension and the 5th dimension. Now, you have family that has gone before you, that has left our planet, died, if you will, transitioned from our planet into the heavenly realms or the universes. And they know the truth now. So they're pulling you. So this is pulling you into other dimensions to share the truth with you until you can remember the truth for yourself. So what is happening here is you're still holding the lineage for your family, and now they're pulling you into the dimensions because they realize they had forgotten the truth, or maybe some of them remembered and they were 4th dimensional beings, and maybe they did remember and they were 5th dimensional beings, but they're actually helping you and assisting you and pulling you towards that level of understanding in the God essence. So the first one, the first chakra is union, and it is red. It's located at your tailbone. And this is you're in search of yourself, in remembering who you are. You're a child of God, you're blessed and holy, and that will never change. No matter what you've done in the world, you will always be a child of God, and that will never change. But you're in search of yourself. Who am I? What am I here for? And you've got to remember that. The second one is self-realization. This is your pleasure center. It's basically located right in front of your body. Basically, the perineum is the second chakra, and it's self-realization. This is a pleasure center. This is where our ego comes in, and this is where we get our conditioned mind patterns. We get our ego here. We think we know it all, and we begin to get a personality here. These are conditioned mind patterns. We get suggestions from our friends, from our family, from different society areas. Oh, I want to dress like that. Oh, I think that's cool. So we go on and get influenced by life in this area. So that's the second chakra, and it is orange. The color is orange. So it has a vitality and influence on us. The third chakra is wholeness. This is where our duality comes in, and it is power. Basically, these lower three areas anchor us to the world, to the earth plane. And this is wholeness. We think we're whole. We think we got it all. We understand the world. We got a job. We went to school. We were educated. We got a job. We're contributing to the world. And this is duality. And we've got power, prestige, and personal acquisition. I made it in the world. I've got a family. I've got responsibility. And this is of the world, those lower three. We've got the I'm aware of myself, I've got an ego and a personality, and I'm looking like everybody else, or I look better. And now you've got the house, the home, the car, the personality, and the personal acquisitions. I got it all going on. We spend the first 30 years of our life building up our life, and the next 30 years tearing it down, or trying to find out who we are as a person. So then where we really want to be as a spiritual being is in the next four areas. So that's where we go. This is in the stomach area. This is in the stomach area. So, and it is yellow. This is where you hold your power, in your stomach. When you feel sick, you don't feel good about something, you hold your stomach. Ugh, this is the power center. There's a fire in there, and it's always lit. So this is the power center. These three chakras anchor us to the earth. These are our first three learning modalities on the planet Earth that anchor us to the earth. Now, this is the programming. We need to change that. This is our slave mentality. Right here, we figure out, there's something wrong. This is remembrance. We go into the heart chambers here. This is the area of the heart. It's the fourth chakra. This is your heart area. But this is also where you get your heart broken. And there's scarcity principles here. There's not enough. There's not enough love. There's some loss in here. You've forgotten who you are. There's a lot going on here with your heart. And the heart center is here. There are 7 chambers to the heart. So there's a lot of work that has to take place here in the heart for remembrance, to remember who you are. Now, this is getting up into the universal area. This is getting into your spirituality. This is returning to love, remembering who you are. And then this other area, this is your throat center. Now, your heart center is green. It's remembrance. The next center, this is the 5th center. It is in your throat, and it is blue, 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 blue. It is the center of truth. This is atonement. This is where you realize that you haven't been truthful with yourself, And in order to be truthful with somebody else, you can't give what you don't have. You've got to tell the truth. This is when you atone with yourself. This also has poverty consciousness in it, the lack of trust with others. They haven't been truthful to me. You can't speak your truth because you're afraid that others will judge you. So you hide. You have secrets that you can't tell. And you stuff them in. And you know where you stuff them? You put them here in the belly. And you begin to harm yourself here a lot. So you've got to remember who you are. You can't stuff things in. So the next one is your wisdom center. This has been referred to a lot as the third eye, and it's right in the center of your head. And this is indigo. The color is indigo. It's purple and blue. And this is where you're seeking for freedom from the chains of illusion. Okay, so this is right in the center of your head. This is wherever you turn, whatever you're looking for, it is the wise one. It's looking out for you. When you get an idea and you don't know where it came from, your guides, your teachers, and your angels are whispering to you, and they give you information. And it's freeing you from yourself. It's taking off those chains of slavery. It's helping you to get more in tune with your freedom, with yourself, with your truth. It's aligning you with your truth so you can remember who you are. And then once you open your heart, you become truthful to yourself, you begin to experience a lot of cosmic things just start happening for you. Snap, snap, snap. You ask for something and then it appears. Or you're looking for something and you find it. So these are synchronicities that absolutely start happening, and it becomes fun. So then the crown chakra starts to open up, the all-knowing. This is where the restoration comes in. You're beginning to restore to your nature, your natural self. The law of nature begins to start shadowing you all the time, and it's blessing you. So these are the 7 chakras, but this one doesn't have an arrow. This one is ever flowing. This is the God self that is you, waiting for you to recognize you. And it's always around you. It's always there. It's just waiting for you to come into truth. Now, truth cannot be learned. It can only be recognized. And you have to recognize the truth of who you are. So these are the illusionary seals, the 7 seals that have to be opened. And I have a deeper class for opening the 7 seals because they align with music, they align with tones, they align with frequencies. That's why music is so important. Right now in our universe, the healing modality is tone. The healing modality is frequency. Our vibration has already gone up to the 4th dimension. In each one of these dimensions, in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th dimension, each one of these dimensions have the power of 3. Power of 1, power of 2, power of 3. What that means is there's a low vibration in each of them. And in the 4th dimension, it's still low. There's still lying going on. There's still duality. There's still ego. There's still scarcity. and there's still a lack of truth. But you can be truthful to yourself. You can remember who you are. You can take your power back and realize yourself, and you'll move right into the power of two, which you're living in your truth. You are the wise one. You're whole again. You are remembering, and then you go right up to the power of three. And that's when you can manifest things. That's when you are living in love and light and truth. And then you absolutely connect with your God self. In each of these levels of three, you are in freedom. You are in your restoration. So you are in all of the universe, helping others to realize their potential and realize themselves. So I needed to go through this with you because you need to do your inner work in order to come into your truth. Okay, let's go to the second slide. So this is the reawakening, and you are natural law. So natural law, like I said before, is your spiritual domain. You are spirit, first and foremost. You are stardust. You are the God particle, and that will never change. Your nature, your reality, and your truth. Okay, the human condition has been conditioned. It's been your training since you were born. So we want to shift that. And so I was telling Sandra, what you say to your children is what they're going to say. What you are doing around them is what they're going to do. Now, I'm just going to give you an example. I don't homeschool, but I do the internet distant learning with my grandkids. And I have a 5-year-old who's in kindergarten, and a 7-year-old who's in first grade. But the last week, I sit on the floor next to my granddaughter, and while she's in school. And I said to her, I sat on a chair after 4 hours of sitting on the ground with her while she was in the first 4 hours of school. And then we had lunch, and then they have a break and she goes back for another half hour. But I sat on the floor, and then I got up and sat on a chair while she was having lunch, and she wanted something. And I said, get up and get it yourself. She's 5. And she said to me, do you have a fin? And I said, what? She said, do you have a fin? And I said, what does that mean? She said, are you a mermaid? And I said, no. And she said, well, you have legs. Bring it over here to me. And I said, where did you learn that? Well, her father had told her that. And I said, first of all, you can't talk to me like that. I'm your grandmother. And second of all, you get up and do it yourself. But the reason I'm sharing this with you is that's a learned behavior. Her father told her that, and she repeated it. Well, she started crying because she calls me Lala. She realized that she was disrespecting me and that she was getting in trouble, and she seldom ever gets in trouble. But anyway, that was a conditioned mind pattern that she learned, and she thought it was okay. And she gave that back to me. And then she realized that she can't talk to me like that. So we have to be careful what we say. Now, neuroscientists have documented that mentally, the children imitate every action we see, even as adults. And think about this. What you see, you do, and what you hear, you say, even as adults. Now think about that. We do. We want to be informed, don't we? So I call in every Sunday at 1:00 Pacific time to hear what Kim and Tank have to say. And so that's conditioning. I call in every Sunday at 1 o'clock. That's a conditioned mind pattern because I want to hear what they have to say. Or I call into the site, the UNN, to play the feedback to hear again what they have to say. That's a conditioned mind pattern. We're conditioned even today. I go to the grocery store and buy the same things. That's a conditioned mind pattern. There are some conditioning that we need to break, and there are some others that just need a little perception correction, I call it. We need to shift that consciousness. But it's a mind conditioning, and our minds are not tangible. We can't touch them. Yet images exist within our brain as thought and memory. This invisible aspect engages the principles of reality or illusion, or vision or creation. So that's left or right brain thinking. So there's a mask layer that all of us wear, and that's what we see, we do. And then there's the image layer, and that's the vision or creation, what we hear, we say. So that's left and right brain thinking. We want to bring them together into the center for the hemispheric thinking. And so that's really important for us to understand the concept. Reality or illusion. What is real is what you can touch, something that's tangible. What is real is something that you value as truth. What is vision is something that is a hologram that you are imagining, that has truth in it, that is bringing you joy. That's the God particle, something that has truth in it. So you can go ahead and dream, that's the illusion. And dream something beautiful, that's the creation. And that's what we're doing with Kim and Tank and in our assemblies. We're trying to dream a beautiful dream so that we can create a beautiful world. Now, those are the principles of our reality and our vision or creation. We have the opportunity to do that right now, but we don't want to bring the old paradigm, the old reality and illusion and vision and creation into our new world. We want to dream a new dream. We want to dream a new vision. And so we really need to be creative. We don't really know how or what that creation is going to be. We don't even have a language for that creation. That's how dynamic this is. And we have an opportunity to do that. And that is incredible. That's what Kim means when she says, get out of the box. So, food for thought. Okay, next slide. Okay, this one is very interesting. This is a symbol of Om. It represents all states of human consciousness. Now, consciousness is again, it is a state of mind. Now, it's important for you to know mind. Okay, the body and the brain are one. This body and the brain, when the body dies, the brain dies. But the mind and the soul are one. The creative force, the Godhead or the source are one. It's a mind. It's the soul. It's ever growing. It's ever expanding. It is like a a pulsation in the universe that's just blinking off and on, or beating off and on. And it's ever growing by every single being on this planet that is contributing to this consciousness. So every time you exhale, it expands. It expands. That's how incredible it is. So this model it comes from yoga. So go ahead and there you go. Just go up just a little bit. There. This is the awakening. So what I'm going to show you here is in yoga, it shows the model. And the bottom half of the curve is that this bottom half of the curve is where the mass population is at. This is where everybody resides. And this represents the dream state. This is where everybody is at, right here. We're all dreaming. We're unconscious. We're in the world. We are in the world, but we're really not of the world. But because we're in the human condition, the conditioned mind patterns, we are in the world. We're dreaming in the world. Okay, so this is where the mass population resides. We're in the world. And then all of a sudden, we realize, hey, there's something more. So we go up here into the top curve. The upper curve represents the waking state. There's something more. What is it? We're waking up. Oh, there's something more than just going to work and getting a job, getting educated, getting a job. In here, we go to school, we get married, we have kids, we're with our families. You want a little bit more, and you're like, hey, there's something more. So our spirit starts to wake up. There's something more, something greater. We start reading books, we talk with different people. There's something more. Your heart is growing. So you're here in the upper curve. And then you go, wait a minute, you're reading these books, you're talking to different people, and you get a different understanding. Then you come over here into I call this a tilde. A tilde. This curve or swirl to the right represents a deep, dreamless sleep state. This is what I call the great observer. You become the observer. You're watching all of these people. Okay, we're watching all of these people who are still asleep. They're not here in our assemblies. We want to recruit them. And they're like, no, you guys are crazy. So we know we're waking up. We're in the spiritual world, and we're watching them. You're doing the same things over and over again. Come on, wake up. But we're watching them make mistakes, the same mistakes all the time. Let's change the world, we're telling them from up here. Come on, let's change the world. Look at these things. No, we're going to pull you out, Jess, if you get too deep in that culture in. That's what my family tells me. I'm like, okay, fine. But we're waking up and we're watching the world make all these mistakes. You're over here. Now, this curve basically tells you, you become the witness totally. That's what it says down here. As you become the witness, you're living up here and here. You're more spiritual. You're the watcher. You're in the crescent. You become really enlightened. Nothing bothers you anymore. You're just really watching. You've done all your inner work. You're assisting everybody in becoming more and more awakened. You're just completely awakened. You're in your Zen here. And this dot, the dot represents transcendental state. You're completely awake. This is like when Neo became in the Matrix, the movie, he could just fly, he could stop bullets, he knew nothing could harm him. This is that state. This is the Buddha state. This is the Christ consciousness. All of that is this state. But it can be attained, but it can't not be sustained. But we can get there. It's attainable. So that's what this model is all about. This tells you where the mass majority of the people are. This tells you you're awakening. This tells you you're observing everybody while staying in your awakening state. This tells you that you've reached a great awakening state and you're watching everyone. And you cannot buy into the consciousness of the cabal. You cannot buy into the consciousness of the whole illusion. The moment you realize you're not present, you are present. That is a phenomenal realization. You become at peace with everything. And you realize that you are God consciousness. Okay, let's go to the next slide. You have to do your inner work. So what this is telling you, we have come here in service to others, but most of us respond in service to self. In order to understand how to live, you need to determine if you are living. And this is just a self-assessment for yourself. There's no right or wrong answers, but it's food for thought. Who are you? What are you? Like, who are you? I've come to represent, I ask myself these questions. Who are you? I've come to represent He who sent me. What are you? I am God. Are you mind energy? Remember what I said about mind? Mind and soul are one. Or are you body matter? Are you always thinking? How do you stop the thoughts? We have a minimum of 90,000 thoughts a day, a minimum. Some people have more thoughts because they're constantly, their mind never stops. It's called chitta, chatter. That's Sanskrit for chatter, brain chatter. How do you stop that chatter? How do you go?
That does not blow us away. Maybe singing a different tune when we have. I don't get it. It's okay. I have a lot of jokes that I don't get.
Yeah, there's a lot of brain chatter. We got to learn how to stop it, because stilling the mind's chatter is going into stillness. How do you stop it? It takes a lot of discipline. I can stop it in a minute. Just, I say no, and it goes flatline. But it took a long time to get there. You can do it. There are words you can say to start you on the path, and there are pausing words. No, don't, next. There are pausing words that you can use to stop the mind chatter. And in yoga, I would have them sit in a lotus position, and I would just repeat, stilling the mind's chatter while stepping into stillness. And then I would say it in Sanskrit, yoga chitta vritti narodaha. Yoga chitta vritti narodaha. Stilling the mind's chatter while stepping into stillness. So we've got to stop the mind's chatter, because that's ego, and it's trying to keep us in a state of chaos. So these are just sentences to help you to identify where you are in your awakening. Are you a free thinker? Where do your freedoms lie? What does being free mean to you? Where do you spend the majority of your energy? Are you constantly present? Are you forgiving? Where are your priorities? What are your guidelines for living? Are you happy with your life? Do you enjoy life fully? And like I said, there's no right or wrong answers. They're just questions to begin to help you to understand your self-assessment. Where are you on your awakening path? And then there's the next page talks about consciousness. Are you consciousness? And here's some different definitions. When you become conscious of being, what is really happening? What's really happening is that being becomes conscious of itself, and that's presence. So you become the seer. You see yourself in your being state, and you're in stillness. So since being conscious and life are all synonymous, we could say that presence means consciousness becomes conscious of itself, or life attaining self-consciousness. Everything that exists has being, has divine essence, has some degree of consciousness. Everything is alive. All are expressions of consciousness in varying degrees, consciousness manifesting as form. Consciousness takes on the disguise of forms until they reach such complexity that it completely loses itself in them. In present day humans, consciousness is completely identified with its disguise. It only knows itself as form, and therefore lives in fear of annihilation of its physical or psychological form. And your ego really fights you on losing itself. It doesn't want. It feels like it doesn't. Its personality does not want to lose itself, but it won't lose itself. The ego integrates with you and becomes your divine self. And I used to have to talk to myself, my ego self, and nurture it like a child and tell it, you're not going to be lost. We're going together. We're going to be love. We're going to be light. We're going to be joy. We're going to be harmony. We're going to be expression of all things that are good, loving, and kind. And I will never defeat you. I will never abandon you. So I used to have to talk to myself like that in order to convince myself that I would never be abandoned again. Because otherwise, the ego is suspicious at best and vicious at worst. So it will continue to attack you. And that's yourself attacking yourself. And it won't leave you alone, so you can't ignore it. You have to deal with it, and it's your own self. And then the next one is when consciousness frees itself from identification. Oop, this one up here. No, go down, please. Okay. When consciousness frees itself from identification with physical and mental forms, it becomes what we call pure and enlightened consciousness or presence. Consciousness is light emitting from the eternal source. So this is where you feel once again the pulsation of the oneness. You become one with all things. Just a beautiful pulsation of light and love, just beating from the inside out or the outside in. It's just a beautiful pulsation of grace and harmony and love. It's a vibration that just is stimulating. It's just incredible. And this is where I'd like to just do a little test before we go on. Okay, so what I want you to do is just do some body tapping. So we're going to take the right hand and just tap, beginning at the tip of the fingers on the left. We're going to tap, tap, tap all the way up. So I hope you're all doing this with me. Going to tap, tap, tap. the right arm or the left arm all the way up and down to the fingertips 3 times. Go all the way up. And now when we come down, we're going to turn the hand over, tap the left palm and the forearm and go all the way up. We're doing the bottom side of the hand 3 times, going up. Okay. Now we're going to go under the arm. So raise the arm up and go under the arm. Make sure you're doing the lymph glands. Those are important. Just tap, tap, tap. Very important. Okay, now we're going to switch hands. And left hand does the right arm. Tap, tap, tap. Body tapping is important. Now we're stimulating our circulatory system. But our vibration is stimulating too. And I want you to feel, to get an awareness of what that feels like. Now turn your hand over and keep tapping. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. One more time. Tap, 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 tap. Raise your arm up. Do the lymph nodes. Very important. Lymph nodes. One more time, lymph nodes. Now both hands on the chest. Tap, 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 tap. Now go down the front of the chest to the belly, to the top of the legs, to the knees, then back up to the belly, that's the power center, to the chest, thymus, back down. Tap, 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 tap. Get that belly. That's the power center. To the top of the thighs, to the knees. Go back up. We're doing this 3 times. Power center, chest, thymus. Last time, go down. Tap, 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 tap. To the knees. Get the insides of the thighs if you can. Tap, 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 tap. Belly. All the way up. Chest. Now, stop. Now feel the vibration in your body. Take a moment and sit in stillness. Can you feel that stimulation? That is your circulatory system. That's your vibration. You should be feeling like that every moment. That's your frequency. Stimulated. Now, Sandra, that's what your children are feeling. That's why they're always on. They're going. We should feel like that. We forgot the feeling. That's our vibration, and it's far higher than that. That's our conscious presence. Every part of our body should feel like that. Okay, we're going to go on to the next slide. Awakening the conscious self. The question is, what about me? The question is an invocation, drawing to ourselves years of repressed but well-recorded data, which in an instant can determine a new path for ourselves. We may attempt to run back into the protection of the tribal mind, but its capacity to comfort us is gone. So these questions again stimulate your questions about yourself. What do I love? What makes me happy? What do I need for balance? What are my strengths? Can I rely upon myself? What are my weaknesses? Why do I do the things I do? What makes me need the attention or approval of others? Am I strong enough to be close to another person or still honor my own emotional needs? Do you feel you have a purpose? Okay, so that purpose can be the fuel to shift your desire into change. So I want to get here to the brain up here. This brain is really important because this is our This is our brain as it exists today. So this is the new brain, the neocortex. This is where we need to be thinking, but the majority is still in the primitive brain, the limbic cortex. This is the reptilian brain, the lower mammal brain. This is the fight or flight area, but our emotions are in this area as well. They're basically up here in this area. This is where the emotional area comes up. We need to get out of this area. This is a controlled slave area. We got to get out of here. It's okay to have emotion. That's energy in motion, but we can't let the emotion drive us. We need to get up here into the new brain. This is the cosmos. This is where we want to think from, the higher level, all up here. So then scroll down. Sandra, thank you. This is the new brain. This is the cosmic brain. This is the hemispheric brain. It's all thinking, it's left and right. It's actually using all four quadrants, but it's hemispheric. It's going from left to right. It's constantly using both sides of the brain, all four quadrants. It's in joy, it's in harmony, and it's thinking with a holographic mind. God or a prime creator or source is holographic. So you are thinking with the universal mind, with the cosmic mind, with the holographic mind, and you've become cosmic. You've become universal. And this is where we want to go. This is the new mind. You're thinking with the neural cortex, with the new brain, and you're thinking outside of the box, if you will. This is where we've been enslaved. This is where all of the conditioned mind patterns are resting. We need to go out here. This is big brain thinking, innovation, and it sparks all of this. This is where we need to go. So I just wanted to say that either you join with truth or you stay in the illusion. This is truth. This is illusion. We need to come up here and stimulate this. So that's what's important there. Okay, if we go on to the next one. This is important to note. We are energy encapsulated in skin. Now here's your chakras. And this is the diagram from the bottom to the top. This is the root, it's red. This is the perineum, it's orange. This is the power center, it's yellow. These are the three that anchor you to the earth, right there. That's slave mentality. You move into the heart, there's 7 chambers. You open your heart and your heart will open you. 7 chambers. This is the throat center. This is truth, satya. This is the center of truth. Now, truth can't be learned. It can only be recognized. It's absolute. It can't be changed. It's always there. Truth is always there, just like love. You can't change that. Your unconditional love and truth, love resides in the heart of truth. It's there. These two are connected. Once you open up your heart, truth automatically exudes from there. It exudes. That's the 5th center. This is the wisdom center. This is the wisdom center. This is the third eye. This is the indigo area. This is the chakra of the all-seeing eye, the all-knowing. And then this is the crown center. This is a nirvana. You've reached the consciousness of the Godhead. Now, these vortexes are always going on. Your energy center is 20 feet or 10 feet high above you, below you, and to each side at minimum. It could go farther than that, but I wanted to show you that it is large. Your energy center is always bumping into somebody. So when you are out and about, or before COVID, and you came home and you said, "Oh, I don't feel so good," you could have picked up somebody's energy. You see, so you got to be careful with your own energy. You can protect yourself merely by saying, putting a bubble around your bubble and saying, "I protect myself," and putting a color around you, or just protecting yourself. So the human condition goes far beyond what the eyes can see. We're dynamic energy encapsulated in skin. There are 7 energy centers aligned with your spine. The chakras serve as an intelligence system of our etheric or spiritual body. They are interconnected vortices of energy that channel the electrical current of the universal light force into our body. Likened to a spinning antenna, each chakra receives and filters vital energy and delivers it into a particular endocrine gland and related organs, supplying the corresponding area with light energy, like life force energy, maintaining a consciousness of its own. Each chakra is overlaid and infused with energies of one's many past experiences and thought forms. So your thoughts are vital. Your thoughts manifest your experiences. You have not only created your outer world with your beliefs and vibratory frequencies, but you've built your inner world as well. So your belief systems, and here where I talked to you earlier about you're holding secrets, you're not telling your truth. So you've taken your truth and put them in your power center. You've got secrets. They're blockages in your body, and they got to go somewhere. They're blocking some part of your body. Your endocrine system is really important, because along with the chakras, let's see, your root center affects your adrenal glands. Your sacral area affects your gonads and your ovaries and your sexual glands. Your pancreas, the power center, affects your solar plexus, the stomach, your um, oh gosh, your guts, all of the processing of your what do I want to say, your lower stomach, your upper stomach, your digestive system. Your heart center affects your thymus glands, and your throat center affects your thyroid gland. Your pituitary gland is affected by your third eye, and then the pineal gland is really important. You know, when they take that, everywhere you go now, they take your temperature, and they're affecting the pituitary gland here, and or the pineal gland, and it's not a good thing. So I try and protect myself when, I'm going to different places and they're trying to take my temperature. I'm like, "Oh, please." I put a block in front of me. So those are important areas for you to realize that your kidneys are being affected, your different parts of your whole body are being affected through the chakra system and your belief system. So no wonder we're out of whack. um, your lungs, everything are being affected by the energies that you're holding in. So it's really important that you realize that. Anyway, okay, so let's go on. You have to do your inner work. So to see with the heart is to truly see with the eyes of the soul. It's not to see with your physical eyes, but to see with your heart. You feel it. Your feeling center is really important. You feel it in your heart. And some people say, but I feel it in my gut. Well, the gut and the heart are so close. Are you really feeling it in your gut, or is one of the chambers of your heart center opening up? You really need to come to peace with that. Okay, so let's see. I think this is the last slide. Yeah, or we've got two more. Okay, so this is when you're stepping into your awakening. Spiritual awakening is awakening from the dream of thought. The objective in this lifetime is to transcend thought. That does not mean to not have thought, rather to observe it and not to be completely identified with thought or possessed by thought. Then the seeker becomes the seer, the observer or the witness. You become a witness of your own actions, reactions, or identified value system. You begin to see yourself outside of yourself. So the spiritual opening now, you go to your cosmic energy and you're stepping into the universe. It's really, it's an incredible feeling when you see yourself outside of yourself. You're aware of your consciousness. You're aware of yourself in the world. You're aware of yourself outside of the world. You become the observer. You see others and their woundedness, and you can bless them and pray for them. You're not reactive. You can bless everyone and pray for everyone. You can share with them if they ask for advice. You become a lover. You become someone who is representing the divine in all aspects of your life. In every breath, every step, and every turn, you are a truth bearer. But you have to do the work yourself. You can't give what you don't have. So, that's it. I just want to say that next week's topic is what we're going to talk about is the children of the stars. So we're all children of the stars. We are the truth bearers. And the way showers started coming in the 1950s, the star seeds in the 60s, the indigos in the 70s, the golden children in the 80s, the crystals in the 90s, and the rainbows in the 2000s. The elders are a mix of all races and the keepers of the elements, earth, water, air, and fire. And the newest element that we are all the keepers of is the element of the ethers. And ether has come in, and it's here for all of us, and it is the fifth element. And Sophia is the goddess of the Great Awakening, and she is the feminine energy that is holding the awakening light for the Great Awakening right now.
Excellent information. And I wouldn't mind watching it again. It was very good.
Yeah. Yes, Sandra, please post it for everyone to see. Absolutely, have them on, have the slide set available for people to review. And you know what? This is your California assembly, and all of the training is free for everyone. So I have no problem with it.
Oh,
Not
excellent.
at all.